Number one, emotion. Logic doesn't always rule emotions. A study showed that 44% of home buyers spent more on a home because they really liked it, in quotes.
44%? I would say
More than
it's
that.
higher than that. Emotion. Let's just flip it from the selling side. What we're trying to do is create that emotion.
I can't tell you how many times I've been out there. We are only going to buy a house with a 3-car or a 4-car garage. And if it doesn't have it, just keep driving, Andy. And then also we buy a house with a 2-car garage because they went inside the house and the kitchen was stunning. Their dream family room, dream view, dream lot, dream school district. And they just absolutely fell in love. And all of a sudden, the criteria that they were forcing themselves to shop with got thrown out the window because they loved the house.
Well, we'll justify it. There's a shed. We can always put a shed in.
You
That's
can always
where the
park your
lawnmower will
stuff
go.
outside. Yep.
Totally.
A home that tells a story sells. If only the walls could talk, stories of past owners can help prospective buyers relate and form an emotional attachment to a home.
You'll see that a lot where people kind of put with their marketing materials like, hey, homeowner, what is the 3 things that you most enjoyed about this home? We love the fact that there's a daycare right down the street, and afterwards we can go to the park, and it has a jumper Jimmy John thing that is the best thing ever. Those are things that you probably wouldn't have marketed, but it might strike a chord with someone.
I think that happens. And then or even like being on the lake, right? Like selling the sizzle, right? And having it where it's a lifestyle thing, or the pool set up for like a pool party when you're doing showings, instead of having everything neatly tucked away. Let's say you have a few umbrellas open and a pitcher of water or whatever out there sitting there. And, so it looks like it's ready to go. And people are like, I want to just move in.
We love sitting on the dock and watching the sunset from the west view, Oh, geez, yeah, you're setting a picture. And by the way, Andy, have you heard of a jumper Jimmy John?
The ones that go on the doorways?
No, I have no idea what it is, but I made it up when I was talking about it.
I thought you were talking about those jumper things that go in the doors. It used to go clink on the top of the door, and then the kid goes crazy bouncing around the room,
Yeah. That's what I was kind of trying to get to, but I didn't think they'd have that year round, but I just used it anyways. Perceived value. Everyone loves added value in a prospective home, but buyers are also motivated by wanting to win the battle against the seller by getting as much value as possible. And I'll tell you what, all of our brochures are made to do exactly that. We're putting in every little feature so someone can justify the fact that, oh my gosh, yeah, I do got to pay $5,000 more, but they do have crown molded in the dining room, and they have that hot tub out back on a pavered patio, not just an old cement patio. And so they feel like they're getting a win, and they're seeing it. They're a lot smarter than everyone else that has to move their hot tub, put a paver patio in, and then put it back on. That's going to cost them $10,000.
I don't do this on every listing, but there are listings where when we're in a competitive environment, we'll intentionally hold back a few items. Like let's say in the bar, there's a really cool, bar fridge or a cool light or a whatever. And we'll intentionally hold that back on the sale, saying this is going with the seller. People come through the house and they want to feel value, and they write their offer. And all of a sudden I'll say, okay, guys, now's when you say, we'll take your deal and we'll give you this. And you were going to leave it anyway, but we'll leave the shed or we'll leave the whatever the item is, right? And then the buyer feels the value of getting something. And that's where then they feel like it's a win for them too. So negotiating wise, I always say leave a couple bullets extra on the side, so when you have the backup plan, so that if all of a sudden you're going through negotiating 101, because I'll tell you what, if they don't get it on the front end, they try to get it off the inspection, or they try to get it off the appraisal, or they try to get it off so if you put your fair goggles on, which are kind of, they're very interesting looking. Yeah.
But Andy, if you do that and you give it to them on that offer, they're going into that inspection thinking, wow, these guys are super cool. And then once they see inspection items, they're kind of like, you know what? They did give us that super cool bar fridge and those
hot tub. Yeah. Right. I've seen it where the hot tub's going with us, and then all of a sudden we negotiate that, and they didn't want to haul it out of there anyway. Because once you get the price to say, oh my God, it's $2,000 to move a hot tub, and rehook it up, and then have to put you might as well just figure out a way to buy a new one and leave the one that's there, because you're probably going to damage it moving it anyway.
The vision of an ideal lifestyle, 100%. Selling lifestyle, you want them to buy into what it is. And give an example, I've got a listing coming up in Territory, which is a community that has a clubhouse, a pool, walking trails, covered bridges, parks, and all that kind of stuff. And it's totally a lifestyle. I mean, it's more than, you're selling more than a house. You're selling the whole